This is the Marvel Legends series, X-Men Marvel's Beast. I picked up this figure at Hobby Corner, and the figure is part of the X-Men 2019 Caliban Build-A-Figure wave. Very, very nice. The 90s Hank McCoy. Very excited to have this figure. And here is Beast out of packaging, and that's been the story for this figure. I've been trying to get him into a handstand, and it is literally impossible to make him stand for more than a few seconds. You can get him in certain poses, take snaps, take pictures, and then he would just literally fall down. And I thought that was going to be the main feature of this figure, but the bottom line is the figure's sculpt looks absolutely fantastic. It's great. But with regard to handstand, the parts are just way too heavy for this one limb to carry on its own. And on top of that, that elbow joint is a soft type of elbow joint. It's not super soft, but it's a little bit loose. It's not as tight, and it's made of that softer PVC material, not the same material as the forearm or the bicep. And it was very frustrating. I was almost ready to quit on this figure, but I managed to get him in certain poses that will allow you to make him do that handstand. And I thought we were led to believe that this figure could actually do that pose, and it's a little bit disheartening that I expected too much from this figure. Now, nevertheless, the figure is still a great figure. Like I said, the sculpt looks absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of detail. There's a lot of sculpting here and there. The fur, the beast, I love that. I love that it's not completely smooth. And they've added a lot of detail here and there. There's a little bit of a wash here on the legs, on the shins, on the calves, on the forearms. So he's not all blue, and you know, I don't know how to improve the paint apps, but I wish there were more. There was a little bit more wash to highlight the muscles, but other than that, I'm just nitpicking. Other than that, I think it's a great sculpt. The head sculpt, though, is a little bit disappointing. I was actually expecting a lot more detail on this head sculpt, maybe more ridges, more wrinkles, and all that. But as it is, it's actually a little bit smooth and underwhelming. The paint apps are absolutely horrible on this one. You can see the gums and the teeth painted haphazardly. The hair is painted nicely, though. The eyes, really nice. And if you're wondering why he looks like this is the 90s Beast. I'll talk about that at the end of the video, why the 90s X-Men are quite important for a lot of collectors. But as it is, it's a pretty solid sculpt, pretty solid figure. Now he comes with 4 different hands. This is the generic hands he comes with, the sort of gripping hand, and the hand that says, we have 4, I need 4 test tubes. Stuff like that. He's got the open hand, which I've already shown, and a closed fist hand. They're quite easy to pop off, on and off, and I mean, yeah. So it's pretty cool. I'm glad they gave us extra hands. He also comes with a head, the Build-A-Figure piece, the head of Caliban. Now, articulation, and I think this is the main feature, apart from that ability to do that handstand. It's got a ball-jointed neck that's on a hinge. It's got a ball-jointed upper torso and an ab crunch. We don't get a waist swivel, but it's the first time I've actually seen this kind of Marvel Legends figure from Hasbro among all the latest ones. So it's a completely new take on the large or extra large body mold. So it is a ball joint. You can move sideways, forward and backward, twist, and then look at this. Lots of articulation, lots of room for the torso. He's got that butterfly hinge for the shoulders, a ball hinge shoulders. They're not as tight, but not as loose. So just right. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. I thought the elbows were going to be severely hindered when they bent, but as it is, they're pretty good. They bend very nicely, 100-degree bend. ball hinge wrists, goes for all three hands. Ball jointed hips that have a wide range of motion. Look at that. Very flexible figure. Step swivel, double jointed knees that go all the way up like that. No calf swivel, ball hinge ankles, rocker pivot, and toe articulation. For size comparison, here he is with the Build-A-Figure Apocalypse, Marvel Legends 90s Jim Lee Cyclops. He stands roughly about 7 inches tall. So some final thoughts on the figure. I think it's a great figure. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It is absolutely an essential figure for any 90s X-Men collection that you may have, or even just plain modern X-Men on your shelf. He is an absolute gem. You're going to need him, and he's a great update from the Toy Biz beast that we've had for the longest time. Now everyone's been a lot of my friends, younger friends, who are saying, what's the deal with the 90s X-Men? I mean, why are all the older generation of collectors after the 90s X-Men? They look so corny, they look funny. Well, this is by far probably my favorite Marvel comic that I have. I mean, it's not in the best condition and all that. I don't care. This X-Men 1, published in October 1991, this has got to be my favorite X-Men. And this started Jim Lee. This is a comic book by Jim Lee and Scott Williams, and it reboots or revamps whole X-Men teams and the mutant saga and all that. Chris Claremont still wrote this, and the one I got was the Gateway cover. And you want to see some of the 90s mutants, and this is it. This is the comic you want to get. X-Men 1 in October 1991, my bad. And I thought they got that beast, that 90s beast, very nicely with this one. Sure, this is what I mentioned with the wash for the muscles. That's what I wanted. Would have wanted for this figure, but I guess as it is, it's pretty good. And I think they nailed it as good as they could find. Rogue, oh man, this book, this particular issue of the X-Men, when Jim Lee started this, I drew almost every single panel on this one on my sketch pad. I tried to draw all the X-Men and all that, and I had posters. I drew them on illustration boards and all that. I wanted to show you one shot of the Beast, which I thought they nailed, like this one. Very nice, and that's it. That is the Beast that we've all been wanting to have. Not the astonishing X-Men Beast, but this Jim Lee 90s X-Men Beast. And yeah, sure, you get to see more of the 90s X-Men, how they looked back in the day. Colossus, Rogue, Psylocke. And I thought this was very important because, you know, I was in high school when I started reading this, and to me, they were my heroes. More than Batman, more than Superman, more than the Avengers. I wasn't even reading up on the Avengers, or Iron Man for that matter. I started reading up on the Avengers and Iron Man when Iron Man was released 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And I thought they captured it very nicely. And that's the significance of the 90s era. A lot of the comic book fans back in the day are now the grown-ups. They have more money to collect figures, and we never had these figures. We couldn't get them. We had the 5-inch ones. Then Hasbro bought Toy Biz. They came up with a smaller 3.75-inch one, 18 scale one, but most of the collectors were a big fan of the 1/12 scale, and we've always wanted a Jim Lee Beast, because I thought, you know, when he joined the Avengers and went back to the X-Men, this was the golden age of mutants, the 90s. And, you know, there were a lot of memories, a lot of childhood stuff happening during that time. And yeah, that's the significance of that. So if you live in Manila, the best way to get this is you pre-order the entire wave and you split the wave with a buddy or something like that, because it is going to be very difficult to just get the Beast on its own. So hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the Marvel Legends series, X-Men Marvel's Beast from the Caliban Build-A-Figure Wave 2019. Thanks for watching.